Very exciting news today. The new set was just revealed for Pokemon Pocket, and we're going to take a look into all of the cards and how impactful it's going to be, because this really could be one of the most impactful, if not the most impactful set we've ever gotten. A little bit about myself, if you're new to the channel, I focus on very competitive Pokemon Pocket content, so if you're looking for a channel to help you on your ranked grind, I was top 100 at my peak. I've since fallen. We're still in the top 1,000, but it's about all the time I have. If any of that sounds interesting to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So our next set is going to be Gen 7, and I have to say, I was really hoping it was going to be Gen 3, but Gen 7 was a close second. If you guys don't know, Gen 7 was the best time in the modern Pokemon TCG era. I loved it. I'm so excited that we're getting these cards now. Like this Rowlet used to be my boy. I love this Rowlet. I'm so glad that they just take the card art from like iconic cards and reuse them, because me and this Rowlet, we got a lot of memories. And I really like the card. So let's start out with let's go in order. We got Solgaleo EX here. And, so 180 HP. It has the same ability as the Solgaleo GX card that was released in our very first Gen 7 set. So me and this Solgaleo, we also go back. Deck wasn't very good, but it was a lot of fun. So Rising Road. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on the bench, you may switch it in with your active Pokemon. The Solgaleo GX, I believe, just let you switch any Pokemon into the active spot on your bench, so it was a little bit better. But Solgaleo, he's going to be able to push himself into the active spot. So maybe this is something you could pair with Druddigon, just to act as a wall, maybe with Dialga. Dialga, you know, I mean, you would be using your 2 energy attachments just to get 2 onto Solgaleo and he could attack. It wouldn't really be doing all that much. And he does 120 damage for 2 metal, and you also do 10 damage to yourself. 2 retreat, not going to be too impactful. I mean, it will be if you're trying to get the Solgaleo out of the active spot, but for getting it in, maybe if you have double Solgaleo setup, which tough ask if we're ever going to do that. This card, I don't know how to feel about it. I don't really love stage 2s that don't one-shot or like come close to one-shotting things. Because being a stage 2 that takes 2 shots is really tough. It does only need 2 energy to attack, which is always great. 2 energy to attack is so much better than 3 energy. Just that 1 energy cost makes a big difference. It means 1 less turn to get it powered up. That's very good. But I just don't know how much I love you hitting for 120 and taking a 2-shot with potentially another basic EX, which has a much easier time getting set up. 180 HP, it's a lot for sure, but you're going to need to heal it in between to try to let it live longer. And usually, like, there's no Pokemon that can really effectively heal itself out of being 2-shot. It's very rare. Like, this is why healing isn't the best. All healing is really used for right now is stopping Darkrai pings. That's kind of it. That's the real reason why we put potions and Pokemon Center Ladies in our deck. It usually doesn't stop the 2-shot. I mean, again, you imagine if Solgaleo gets hit by a Giratina, he's taking 130, he's all the way down to 50. How are you going to heal that 80 damage to make sure Solgaleo doesn't get knocked out? Or, I guess, only 60 damage if, 50 damage. With a giant cape, you'd have 70 left, so you'd have to heal 60 to get it back up. Or, actually, you'd have to heal 80. Or 70. So, geez, I cannot do math right now. Ignore all my numbers. I'm saying it's very hard to heal this thing out of 2-shot range. That's what I'm getting at. And then the 120, like, it's not even going to return KO a Giratina if they have a cape on it. They'll hit into you. They'll go down to 150 if the Giratina has a cape. You're not even in red range to take a knockout on it and back. So, don't love the guy. It could be very scary with that new rare candy, which we will discuss later. Like, if you could get off to a rapid, you know, you go second, turn 2 Solgaleo, you're just doing 120. That sounds like it could be pretty scary, but I'm undecided on it. I don't think it's too amazing. I'm much more excited about the Lunala. So Lunala, 180 HP as well, weak to dark, cool, 1 retreat. The attack, you know, 3 energy, does 100. It's something. It will be relevant. You will be attacking with Lunala if you're playing a deck with it. But its ability, Psychic Connect. Once during your turn, you may move all Psychic energy from one of your bench Psychic Pokemon to your active Pokemon. Immediately, what's coming to mind is Rare Candy is going to make Stage 2s very good. hopefully, is going to make Stage 2s very good. The big thing to worry about is, like, Charizard. I'm thinking maybe you could run, like, a Psychic Toolbox deck. You use the Lunala, you use Giratina. Giratina's going to charge up the energy, get you that extra energy in play. And then you can run, like, a Mewtwo EX, a Mew EX, whatever. You can have a toolbox of attackers, use Giratina to get all of the energy in play, and then Lunala is just going to let you pick who you attack with. I think that could be very, very cool, and I'm hopeful that it works, because I don't have a problem with Giratina itself. My problem is that it's like a basic Pokemon that runs off itself, and the evolution Pokemon just can't really keep up consistently. Now that hopefully Stage 2s will be more consistent, I think Giratina is a fine card. It's just the basic Pokemon were too strong, set up way too consistently, as opposed to anything that's trying to evolve. So I would love to play a Lunala Psychic Box deck. That sounds very, very fun. You just run the Lunala line, a Giratina, a Mewtwo, a Mew, whatever. You can, change it up depending on how the meta is going. How many card slots is that even going to use? You use 6 from the Lunala, probably 2 Giratina, 1 Mewtwo, 1 Mew. It's quite a bit of Pokemon, but I think the deck could be very, very fun. So I'm hyped on the Lunala. I think it'll be cool for Psychic, a new look into Psychic. Now, for the other cards we have, all of these basics don't really mean much. They all kind of don't do anything. We have this Oricorio, which 40 and confused. Not great, honestly. Not great. This one, Spiteful Dance, 20 damage, and if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack, you do 60 more damage. So 1 energy 80, pretty decent. Pretty decent. It could have some play. It's just a basic attacker that can do 80 in return. I like the card. Whether it will find its way into decks, we will see. Alolan Raichu. This guy is very, very cool. I love that this is a colorless attacker. So it's electric type, but it doesn't matter what energy, which means you could put Alolan Raichu into anything. You can put him into anything as long as you have the deck space for it. It's going to do 60 damage plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. That means against a Giratina, you're going to be doing a fully charged Giratina, you're going to be doing 180. Against a fully powered up Pokemon that needs 3 energy, like a Darkrai, you're going to be doing 150. These are all very, very good numbers to hit. This is a very, very powerful Psychic attack. We've seen it before. We know, what it does. And this is just a very, very good one. I am excited for this card. This seems great. Whether or not it can exist on its own is to be debated. It's really going to depend on where the meta is at. If the meta was just Giratina Darkrai, you could probably just build an Alolan Raichu EX deck with maybe Pachirisu to just power up more of them. Some sort of electric type box like that. But yeah, no, it seems like a very cool option for any deck going forward, because again, it is colorless. You can splash this guy in anything. So I really like the Alolan Raichu card. Curious to see where the meta ends up, to see if we even end up playing it. But I mean, just a very cool card and a very beautiful artwork. Next, okay, I'm only going to talk about this because Alolan Ninetales GX is my favorite deck of all time. This is the same artwork that you would use. It had a different attack. It was essentially go get a Pokemon from your deck and put it into your hand. But this attaches a water energy to this Pokemon, I believe, and attached to this Pokemon. I have to assume that this is attached to Alolan Vulpix. It's hard to read. I'm blind. I'm only bringing this up because I cannot imagine this card having this attack, like not a filler attack, and being bad. The Alolan Ninetales. I feel like we will hopefully get an Alolan Ninetales EX that will be at least somewhat decent. If it's anything like the real card had 2 attacks. It had one that did 50 damage snipe anywhere on the board for 2 energy, and then it had another attack which for 3 energy it did 160, which those numbers aren't relevant, but it would discard 2 water energy from itself. So maybe we're looking to go that way. Maybe we're looking to do some sort of Alolan Ninetales discard attack from itself. It'd be a lot like Palkia, but depending, it might only be, 3 energy costs, so there's a reason to play that over Palkia, because maybe you can get it set up faster, and Alolan Vulpix accelerates to itself. I would expect something like that, or maybe something like this card does more damage depending on how many water energy you have attached to it. I would expect it to either be a discard card or a does more energy or does more damage based on how many energy you have, just to have some synergy. They could just make it be a plain, I don't know, 3 energy for 120, 130, whatever. Whatever is relevant now. I know we're power creeping all the time, so we'll see. But I'm super excited. I love Alolan Ninetales. It is my favorite Pokemon, probably ever. Alolan Marowak. This card should not exist. This sucks. Burning Bone Ring, 70 for 3 energy. So it's Marowak EX, but requires 1 more energy and does 10 less damage for each flip. And if one of them's heads, your opponent's Pokemon is now burned. Woo. Cool. I will never play this. I hate Marowak EX. I despise the guy, so Marowak, you're not getting any play out of me either. You're a bad card. Rotom Dex. Look at the top card of your deck. Then you may shuffle your deck. Yeah, I don't see this making the cut. To anything. I'm not playing that card in any deck. Might as well play, I mean, yeah, like, no, it's not worth the card inclusion. We're going to skip over our candy. Lima. Or Ilima. I don't know. Lima? I don't know what that capital is. Ilima? I think it'd be Ilima. That's not a capital L. Put one of your colorless Pokemon that has damage on it into your hand. Okay. So this is like Charon's Care from the real TCG, which if you guys play the real TCG at all, you'd be familiar with it because it just rotated out. We've been seeing Charon's Care for a while now. Very, very cool card. Very cool card. I'm trying to think of who might want this off rip. You know, you have the Snorlax with the berry. That's like okay. Yeah, I mean, there are like some colorless Pokemon that are relevant. There's not too many of them. And the problem is that we don't have like great energy acceleration options. I mean, I guess you could play like Manaphy with colorless Pokemon, and that way when you use Ilima, you don't just lose the game from there because you don't have anything else set up. Really, the biggest problem is that, again, we don't have great energy acceleration, so when you're doing that, yeah, you're denying a prize from your opponent, or a point. What? They're prizes, all right? They're always going to be prizes. Don't even correct me in the comments. I don't want to see not one comment saying that they're points, not prizes, all right? They're prizes. Yeah, you deny that, but then you end up having, like, the attacker's gone. All the energy goes away, too. So, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Cool card. I like it. I've been hoping for something like this, just so we have that option. It does suck that it's colorless Pokemon specific. I would have liked this to just be a blanket card. I think that would be much, much better. It actually might be a little bit broken if it was every card. So actually, shout out to the game designers for you know, that would be a way to get around Cyrus. But now colorless Pokemon, they have a way to get around Cyrus for damage things on the bench. Cool card. Lana. This card is going to be totally dependent on how good Araquanid is. So you can only use this card if you have Araquanid in play. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. So it's like Cyrus, but instead of damage counters, you need to have an Araquanid. I can't think of any really relevant Araquanids from the real TCG to, you know, pull inspiration from. So I don't know what they're going to do with this card. I would assume it's going to be a water type because Lana is a water type trainer, water type totem person, whatever they were. I haven't played Sun and Moon since it came out, so I don't even remember. So that means that we might have Araquanid Misty shenanigans. So you have Araquanid, you have a water deck with Misty and Guaranteed Gust. Could be a little, you know, weird. Actually, you know, maybe... no, I don't think so. I was going to say maybe you could have some sort of water deck, like maybe Palkia with Araquanid and Lana, just so you can get the Guaranteed Gust, but that's a lot of cards just to make this one supporter work. And if you don't set up the Araquanid, then the Lana is dead until you find it. I'm not sure. I think it might just have to be like an Araquanid forward deck, and then maybe you put the Palkia in as like a one of, but I don't think there's going to be like a main Palkia deck plus Araquanid. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the Araquanid does. It's a very powerful supporter either way, right? It's just guaranteed you get to pick the Pokemon without any qualifiers besides having the Araquanid in play somewhere. So we'll just have to see what the Araquanid guy does. All right, choose one of your Alolan, Marowak, or Turtonator. Turtonator! Oh, I forgot about you, Kiawe. Wait, you were awesome. This this card was sick. This was something you used in the real TCG with Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh Kiawe. Disgusting. Such a not good deck, but it was very fun. And Kiawe in the real TCG you took 4 fire energy from your deck and attached it to one of your fire Pokemon, and then your turn also ended with Kiawe. So you're going to choose an Alolan, Marowak, or Turtonator, and you take 2 fire energy and attach to that Pokemon. Cool. Going to depend on the Turtonator. The Marowak, I guess that makes it better that it's a 3 energy attack because you can use Kiawe. It is a little bit cringe that you have to evolve into the Marowak first, because ideally this would be something you want to use, you know, on like your first turn or second turn or something, because your turn's going to end after you play this card. But hopefully the Turtonator is good. Turtonator might be just a regular old take some fire energy discarded from this Pokemon, and it does a lot of damage. That's cool. I like Kiawe. That's a very, very interesting card. I'm glad to see it. Makes me think about the Alolan Marowak. The attack still sucks though, dude. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay, maybe for the YouTube title we'll do it, but I don't want to do any more bone rings, man. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I gave you up months ago. I'm not trying to get back with you. Acerola. Choose one of your Palossand or Mimikyu that has damage on it. Move 40 of its damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That's a big number. 40 damage. That's a big, big number to move to the active. Healing 40 and dealing 40. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Again, what does Mimikyu do? What does Palossand do? I don't know. Now, it doesn't say Palossand EX or Mimikyu EX, so I would have to say that these are both non-EX cards. Otherwise, the card would be worded differently. I believe it would say, choose one of your Pokemon that has Palossand or Mimikyu in its name. And that can be tricky. So, Mimikyu, unless Mimikyu is going to function like it does in the game, where it has an ability that says, if this Pokemon takes damage from full HP, it instead lives with 10 HP. This is going to be useless for it, because a basic Mimikyu would have, I don't know, 70 HP, something like that. It'd be very hard, like, to not just knock out the Mimikyu. Another option, instead of having a disguise ability, it could have something that we've seen recently in the TCG, which is it doesn't take damage from EX Pokemon. Mimikyu is usually has some sort of walling ability if they're going to give him an ability. I feel like with Acerola existing, it would have to, right? There's no way they give us a Mimikyu that doesn't have some way to survive. I guess it could, but it's not going to work with the Mimikyu if it doesn't have something to let it hold on. Palossand, again, no relevant Palossand, so I'm not sure what that card could have as an ability or attack, but Acerola, going to depend on the cards. Going to depend on the other cards, as do these trainer cards usually do. It's cool to see them back and hopefully be decent. I don't really think any of them were really relevant from, when was the last time we saw them? Space Time Smackdown? Yeah, you had Cynthia for Garchomp. Garchomp wasn't ever really a deck. It was a thought of a deck. It was an idea. Never really became anything. Lieutenant Surge, Electivire, or not Lieutenant Surge, Volkner, Electivire, Luxray. Again, it was an idea of a deck. It really wasn't great. So none of these have really been great. Brock had his time in the sun. Blaine had his time. Lieutenant Surge never really became anything. Misty's really been the only gym leader Pokemon that's done anything, and that's because it wasn't specific to any Pokemon. It was just, hey, you're a water type. Let's give you a bunch of energy for free. And I apologize for any potential weird audio. I just realized that my mic turned the gain down on itself again. And I just fixed it. So there we go. Heal all damage from one of your Shiinotic or Serena. If you do, discard all energy from that Pokemon. Cool. Depends on what these guys do and how many energy they cost to attack. If it's Serena and it needs 1 or 2 energy to attack, could be decent. Heal all damage from one of your Shiinotic or Serena. Again, they're not qualifying the EX here, so I don't think they're going to be EX Pokemon. Rough. Okay, Sophocles. What do you do? During this turn, attacks used by your Alolan Golem, Vigavolt, or Togedemaru do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That's a big buff. That's a big buff. Give me a good Vikavolt. Dude, Vikavolt was sick too, dude. I just love Gen 7. I love Gen 7. I have so many good memories with all of these Pokemon from the real TCG. Give me a good Vikavolt, man. Give me a good Vikavolt. Alolan Golem, probably going to be mid. Togedemaru, I don't know what you could do. You could do something, I'm sure. You're probably going to have an attack. You're probably going to have HP. And likely a weakness and maybe some sort of retreat cost. That's all I got. Lily. All right, if this excites you that the interactive art is Lily instead of a Pokemon, we need to check your hard drive. Heal 60 damage from one of your stage 2 Pokemon. I mean, cool. Cool. Free 60 heal on stage 2s. Like I was saying earlier, it is usually tough to heal the... Sorry, you're watching me collapse. My armchair's breaking again. It is tough for any Pokemon to try to survive 2 hits. Like, if you use this and double potion, you heal 100 damage. That could be enough. That could be enough. Imagine Venusaur Lily. Ooh, Venusaur Lily and Erica. All of them. Just put all of them in there. Why not? I don't think that's going to be anything. I don't think Venusaur ever will be anything. Sadly. You just 4 energy costs to get that up and going? No. Something, Lily, just one of those cards. Again, something to think about. In every single stage 2 deck you're running. So, cool. Cool. Not much more to say about it, to be honest. Then we have this Rayquaza. I've been asking for Rayquaza EX. And you give me Dragonite. You give me Dragonite with my favorite legendary Pokemon skin on it. Why you gotta do that, man? 4 attack cost. And it does 40 to, Pokemon, whatever. 4 attack cost is so much. Are we gonna run Ilima? Rayquaza? Probably not. How are you ever gonna get this 4 energy back on the Rayquaza? Also, why is he not just a dragon type? We have dragon types. Usually you do colorless if dragon types aren't in the TCG. It's very rare that you make a dragon type a colorless. That's just strange. That's strange to not just make him a dragon. But this is going to be a promo card, so you're not going to see it until that comes out. I don't think it'll be relevant. I mean, like, what's the best thing to do with this guy? Put him with Magneton, Magnezone, and Dawn? Put him with Manaphy? I mean, it's a lot to only be doing 160 to the board. And 4 energy. Again, it's just a big attack cost. That's huge. I will be trying it. I won't be excited about it. And now we got to talk about the card I skipped over. The best card we've ever seen. Okay. We have Rare Candy. And for anyone wondering, yes, Rare Candy will work on fossils. Fossils count as basic Pokemon, so you can skip right up into your Rampardos. Now, this is very, very interesting. So, a long time thought has been, when they released Genetic Apex, we saw Charizard, the big nuke that he is. And I always said, I'm worried that they might have put themselves in a hard place, because as you make stage 2s more consistent, you just make Charizard more consistent, and Charizard just has that win con of like, hey, I'm Charizard, I have 5 energy on me. GG's, shake my hand. Minus 10 points in ranked for you. Rare Candy, it's going to make every stage 2 just a little bit more consistent. You won't need to find the stage 1 if you have that Rare Candy in hand. You can even experiment with 2-1-2 lines. I don't think we're at a place consistency-wise where we can run like 1-1 techs of cards. Like, I don't think you can slot a Froakie and a Greninja into a deck when you're already playing Rare Candy and just expect to ever find the guy. Not consistently, at least. Not going to be worth the deck spaces. But yeah, stage 2s are going to have a much easier time getting into stage 2, just because you'll always have that option of Rare Candy if you can't find your stage 1. So my concerns are that we might turn into because there's no like guaranteed way to get this card. You just got to draw into it and draw into the stage 2. That's a 2-card combo that you need with no way to really find either piece besides like Pokemon communication to hopefully find the stage 2, this could just make things like very, very draw dependent. If you start in your hand with a research and a Pokeball, and then you find the second research, you're high rolling a bit, you're going to have a much easier time getting into the rare candy as opposed to the other stage 2 player you might be playing who did not start with research plus Pokeball into second research. And then you're just going to be able to go, extend that lead, that draw lead, by going rare candy into your stage 2 and get up attacking even faster than they can. I've been saying that I'm not sure if rare candy was the fix we needed for stage 2s. I might be proven wrong as we play it and we see how the meta develops. But hopefully this doesn't become my opponent just had the stage 2 and the rare candy in hand, and now they win the game because I don't have that. And that's kind of is what it is. Hopefully just the fact that we have our stage 1 option just evolving regularly plus the rare candy in case we are missing the stage 1. Hopefully that makes things just consistent enough and doesn't feel really high rolly. So what are the cards that benefit the most off this? Well, like I discussed, Charizard. I'm almost not even too worried about because we already have the counter for Charizard. It already exists. We have the Mew. Mew is just going to be able to one-shot a Charizard in return, deal with that Pokemon. So, Mew has fallen off. You might have forgotten about the guy, but he does still exist. We haven't had a need for him in the format, but I could see Mew making a resurgence. It's splashable, 3 colorless energy. If Charizard is the number 1 deck after Rare Candy gets printed, you're going to see a lot of Mew around to counter it. And you're going to be forcing your opponent to have the Charizard plus Cape plus Blue just to not get knocked out by Mew. And that is a very tall ask of a stage 2 deck to even find the space or just to find those cards at the right time to prevent Mew from going nuts on them. What else? Rampardos gets a little bit better. Rampardos, I still despise Rampardos because to me, the hardest part is always just finding the Skull Fossil. And now if you're using rare candy as well, you're going to be trying to find 2 item cards again with no way to really search them out. You just have to draw into them naturally. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to go from to find the Skull Fossil and then rare candy into Rampardos into it. But we will see how that ends up shaking out. I hope Rampardos isn't that great. Rampardos always just feels... It's like, if it gets set up, man, it's a disgusting, disgusting deck. But it bricks a lot, because finding that Skull Fossil can be a little bit tricky. Things like Meowscarada, maybe if we change how we build Meowscarada, go from, Go from, like, Meowscarada Magnezone, because you would never want to use Rare Candy with Magnezone. You don't want to skip the Magneton. The Magneton is just way too good. It charges itself up. Yeah, you wouldn't want a Rare Candy to do a Magnezone. Meowscarada, I mean, it finds its own Pokemon. Maybe you find a space for like 1 Rare Candy just to smooth things over if you're missing the Florgato. But, Sprigatito, he finds all of this stuff on his own. The Blastoise could get better. But if Charizard's really good, Blastoise doesn't really counter Charizard as well as you would want him to, sadly. You really just got to look at every single stage too. But my concerns are more just that what is going to happen with the format? Is it going to feel more high roll, but instead of, basic Pokemon high rolling or Misty high rolling, now it's just which person found their Rare Candy stage 2 combo first? We'll have to see. I would be happy if it just means that basic Pokemon get a little bit weaker and we don't have to concern ourselves so much with these like Giratina Darkrai decks, because those are miserable. I don't like when Pokemon is, hey, my board's set up on turn 1. I have everything I need. All I have to do from here is just draw cards, maybe prevent you from drawing cards with Mars, maybe take some of your energy off with Team Rocket Grunt, heal myself, just keep myself healthy. I don't like that they have their board set up on turn 1. It takes a lot of the fun out. It's like there's no way to really delay them besides maybe a late game Mars after they've taken two prizes and hoping that they don't just find that last card that they need. So I like working towards my board state. I like working towards it. Or if I'm not working towards it, I got to be at least intelligent to win the game, either through sniping damage or using multiple attackers, that sort of thing. I don't like these barely any Pokemon. The fun for Pokemon comes from the Pokemon you're playing, not the trainer cards. So those are my thoughts on Rare Candy. I am cautiously optimistic about it. I am excited for it, but I am, again, worried that this could become some sort of stage 2 high roll nightmare. So those are all my thoughts on the cards. I'm very excited to see the rest of the set. I think it could be very, very fun and hopefully change the meta in a very, very impactful way. Once again, guys, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be covering all the new cards as soon as they drop. I'll give you the best ranked decks, I swear. You go nowhere else. I have the best ranked decks, me. It's a personal guarantee. All right, thanks, guys. See you on the next one.